I miss painting and working in construction. Sometimes. One of the greatest joys in my previous work life was cracking open a bucket of paint, dipping the end of my brush into the bucket, and beginning the repetitive motion of painting. Dip, wipe, brush. Dip, wipe, brush. Again and again, as I would watch the wooden cabinets slowly surrender to a sea of beige paint. I would turn on a podcast or a book and let myself be enveloped in the story as my brush ate through foot upon foot of boards and blank wall. It was soothing to my brain. Later, when I started my small business career, the stress would become unbearable, and I would escape to the river. Sitting on the bank of a winding river, I would start my stress relief cycle again. Flick, cast, reel. Flick, cast, reel. Allowing my brain to process through emotions, problems, and fears. Soon enough, the onset of stress eventually outgrew the soothing whispers of my fishing line. I tried video games, and while it was nice for a minute and the dopamine felt great as I marked off a list of quests from my journal, my brain never really grew silent. I tried meditation with breathing exercises, prayers of thanksgiving, and words of affirmation, but I failed repeatedly. And so, I became more and more frustrated. I felt like ants were running up and down and around my back each time I started to rest. A sense of guilt over my lack of constant hustle would eat me up, forcing me to stay up hours into the night to prove that I was willing to sacrifice everything to achieve my goals. That is what, after all, being a small business owner demanded of me, right? I have always said that different stress levels require different levels of relaxation. But the problem was, I could no longer find my way out to relieve my stress. My silence had been silenced. A constant barrage of self-help, business theory, meetings, and travel, until my world crashed in on itself the morning I woke up and thought I was having a heart attack. My heart was pounding. My arm was numb. My chest tight. My breath came through gasps and waves of perspiration. I felt unsteady, and my world turned on its axis. After an emergency room visit, a doctor's appointment, blood panels, and 2 cardiologist visits, I had to face the unpleasant truth. I was experiencing panic attacks. The closest form to exercise that I could find was the pool where we were staying. My wife watched as I transformed in front of her eyes from a person overburdened by stress and anxiety to a man in a playful and relaxed state as I began to pool walk and run for hours at a time. Later, as we moved on, I missed these moments. When I returned to the tree-lined lakes of Finland, I found my peace again. My wife and my in-laws would find me sitting neck deep in the frigid waters, staring at the tree line. The silence was at last found again. At last, the burdens poured off my shoulders and into the dark waters surrounding me. The sounds of the Nordic countryside whispered through the forest and into my heart. After a few weeks of this aquatic therapy, I would return to land and pick up my burdens once again. Once I returned to the States, my troubles would redouble. I would fight to find peace. Stillness would elude my grasp until the day I started to write and later to swim laps. I have found that I can pour my thoughts onto paper, or at least the digital equivalent, seeing as my handwriting, to put it mildly, is atrocious. I could dribble my thoughts out one at a time, or jumble them together in a torrent of conflicting principles, half-baked ideas, and damn collapsing emotions, letting the colors of my consciousness spread across the pages. Then afterwards, I could dive into the chlorine-primed waters of the gym, and I would find there not just silence, but a sense of peace. I could hear new ideas being whispered to me through the water, lap upon lap, breath, stroke, stroke, breath, stroke, stroke, breath, stroke, stroke. Finding peace through meditation in motion.